Travis Martell here, with Martell Elite Fitness. Today, we're going to coach you through the bear crawl hold. This is a great fundamental exercise to build good core strength, core control, as well as understanding of how the body needs to create stiffness, so that way we can lift better. And then as we get into more contact with hockey, as someone comes to hit me, my body will naturally want to brace, and I'll be able to create stability so I won't get knocked off pucks. The setup for this is we want to make sure that our hands are right underneath of our shoulders. So as I'm down in my bear crawl position, a lot of kids will end up having their hands too high, or they'll end up having their hands outside that shoulder. We want to be stacked. So shoulder right over top of hand. And on the lower half, we want to make sure that our knees are right underneath of our hips. So a lot of times athletes' knees are too far back and a little bit to the outside. So the setup is fairly easy. You don't need any equipment at all. I want to start with my knees underneath my hips and my hands underneath my shoulders. I like to dig my toes into the ground. Allows me to just create a little bit more tension in the body so I feel stronger. From here, I want to find a flat back. I'm going to squeeze through the core, and I'm going to elevate my knees up off the ground. I want to be nice and flat. I don't want to be rounded through the back or tucked underneath. So my knees should be right underneath of my hips, and my hands should be right underneath of my shoulders. The height of my hip, so if you find your hip bone, that height should be the same height as your shoulder and as your ear. So you should be one long position from there. If you need to, you can grab your hockey stick and place it on your back. And the hockey stick should sit nice and flat. So it should touch the back of your head, in between your shoulder blades and your tailbone. So we're gonna get our athlete to perform the bear crawl hold, and we're gonna coach them through it. So the setup, knees are underneath the hips, hands are underneath the shoulders. Once he feels like he's in a good brace position, he's gonna elevate his knees up off the ground. So we're gonna take his hat off for this just to make sure that he's in a nice straight line all the way through. He's doing a really good job. That ear, shoulder, hip is all one height. So you can see his hands are a little bit in front of him. So if I was to draw a straight line down, there we go. And now from here, you're gonna slightly just walk your feet back, just a couple inches, good. So we wanna be right over top. You can start to see he's getting a little bit tired, so he's starting to round through his back, so we wanna be flat through there. Hips are up nice and high, hold in that position. The reason he starts to round through his upper back is he's trying to create stability on the joints. So he's trying to use his skeletal structure, so his spine, rib cage, shoulders. He's trying to stack on the joints to be strong. When he's flat through here, and he's hips up a little bit higher, he's right here. Now he's using all the muscle to create stability. This is hard, this is tiring. Doing it right is hard, and you can see he comes out of it right away. So take a little rest. Give him about 10, 15 seconds here. We're gonna go to the other side. So when you're doing this, pay attention, right? Do I start to round through my back? Well, that means I'm creating stability with the wrong stuff. I'm creating stability on the joint rather with the muscle. So we wanna be nice and strong through here, bracing through that core. Now the muscle's doing the work. This is gonna help prevent injuries while we're playing our contact sport. So we'll get him set up again. So he's gonna find neutral spine. He's gonna get nice and strong through his core. Then he's gonna elevate, knees up off the ground. Walk your feet back just a little bit more. Good. If you feel pretty good with this exercise, we wanna work on our breathing at the same time. So we actually want him to inhale down into his abdomen, so lower abdominal, lower stomach area. So you can see he's coming up through his chest again. Good. When performing this exercise, it's very important to focus on your breathing. We want to make sure that we're inhaling through our stomach, down through here, and then as we exhale, that goes back in. We don't want to have as much movement up top. The reason why breathing is so important with this is it forces our body to use a little stabilizers to create that stability. If we end up kind of holding our breath or breathing up through here, we end up using the big prime movers. So we got more like into our lats, more of the rectus abdominis, so that kind of six-pack muscle. So the one that is more to the outside. we do want those stronger. We want, with this exercise especially, we want the little primer, so the deep, deep core muscles to work. So we're thinking our transverse abdominis, that TA, everything that's deep, we want that to work. And the reason being is we play a contact sport. So if I have the puck and he comes to hit me, if I have to hold my breath or if he catches me off guard, I might lose balance. I might get knocked off that puck because I never trained those little stabilizers. By breathing during this exercise, I train the stabilizers. So if he happens to hit me and I'm not really paying attention, all of a sudden my body's going to quickly react and I'm going to be able to create stability because I don't have to rely on the big guys to do the work all the time. So when you're performing this exercise, just focus on your breathing, what's happening. The other thing that you want to focus on is making sure that we don't start to round through the upper back, because that's us relying on the joints to create stability rather than the muscles to do the work. So this is a very simple exercise. However, done correctly, it's very challenging. As you can see, as our athlete was going through it, as he started getting tired, he naturally started to do this. I don't know if you noticed that or not. So just pay attention to what you're doing. Do this exercise wherever. You don't need any equipment. So once again, that is our bear crawl hold.